Hello, my name is Jennifer Bailey and I am making this video to share my story. So when I was growing up as a child, I have photos that I'll insert here of me as a baby just covered in eczema. So I had it all over my face. I'd get it in the arm or the crooks of my arms and in behind my knees. And it was really hard growing up, not scratching and not having a lot of things available. And luckily I had a parent who had eczema growing up, so she was really great about making sure I was comfortable, but it got really bad once I was in college. And you know, the stress of college and trying new things, including laundry detergent with fragrance in it. I got eczema on my eyelids and on my hands so bad that my eyes would swell shut and I'd have to do cool compresses in the mornings before class. Otherwise, I'd go to class looking like I'd gotten beat up. And it was embarrassing when I would go out and volunteer with our volunteer group. Little kids would ask me what was wrong with me, and I just felt so stuck, you know, like I was in pain so much of the time. And when I was home over winter break, I went to the family dermatologist and she told me that I had atopic dermatitis, which to me just sounded kind of like a catch-all. There wasn't really a cause other than my immune system was just attacking my skin. And she said that because I'd had it since I was a kid, I would have to deal with this for the rest of my life. And being told that as somebody who was in pain, you know, I had a job where I used my hands and they were cracked and bleeding all the time. And being told that and that I was gonna have to just deal with it was heartbreaking as a young person to hear. I mean, it would be heartbreaking at any age, but she gave me a prescription, well, 2 prescriptions for some really strong steroids. And I used those for years, but they thinned the skins of my hands. Stuff would peel off of me. My skin was really tender all the time from using the steroids. And I couldn't use them on my face, even though sometimes, against doctor's advice, I would put them on my eyes just to get momentary relief. But obviously that's terrible for the thin skin of your eyelids. And so after years of struggling, I tried fixing my diet and I tried making sure that, you know, I wasn't using any fragrances, and that helped to some degree, but I would still get these absolutely terrible flare-ups where it looked like I was getting beat up. And so my mom on Instagram, she saw some before and after pictures of people who had used Smart Lotion. And I, being a cellular biologist, had to look at the ingredients and had to see, you know, what clinical evidence there was. And I realized that the sulfur in Smart Lotion was the one thing that I hadn't tried. I hadn't tried something with sulfur and a low dose hydrocortisone. And so I thought, you know, what the heck? I will try it. I've tried everything else. And within like a few hours, the itch was gone. Not on the big, like, raised welt-like patches of eczema, but on the smaller patches, the itch was gone in hours. And the next day I cried when I looked in the mirror because the rashes on my eyelids were no longer red and they were slowly going down. And after using Smart Lotion for a couple of weeks as recommended, so 2 to 3 times daily, and on top of everything else that I was already doing, I didn't need to use it anymore. I had clear skin, and the skin on my hands, even my coworkers were like, "What are you doing?" One of my coworkers had a friend who had eczema, not quite so bad, but you know, similarly bad. And she even asked, can I give her a bottle? Your hands look so different. And, you know, as a cellular biologist, I wear gloves in the lab, and before I would bleed into the glove and it would the blood would harden between the layer of the glove and my skin, so that when I ripped off my gloves, it would rip off parts of my eczema, which was so painful. But that didn't happen at all. And now, after I would say like 6 months of using Smart Lotion, I use it maybe a couple times a week. So right now I'm using it on a patch on my neck and a little bit, because it's really hot where I live, in the crooks of my arms, because I do sweat and that does irritate my skin. But honestly, I only use it a few times a week and for flare-ups, and it has completely managed my unmanageable eczema. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to talk about how much this has changed my life. I no longer feel like people are worried to be around me because they don't know that eczema isn't communicable. And I just hope that for the one person who's seeing this, if you haven't tried something that has a similar ingredient list to this, it's totally worth just trying it. Just trying one bottle. And if it doesn't work, then you know you've tried it. And if it does work, it will change your life, like it has mine.